Listen to Desert Radio from wherever you are in the world by streaming live on stream.namibian.com.na. Desert Radio, the bold voice.
Right, just as we promised you yesterday to say that we shall be in conversation with the Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission. That's of course, Paulus Noa, in connection with the ongoing conversations that we are having right now around the order which, of course, the ACC gave to the Higher Education Minister, that's Itah Kandji Murangi, to say that she needs to pay back the S&T that she got from the institutions under her there. We are just joined by the Director General. We just lost him on the line just a little bit there. Mr. Noa, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So we have arrived at this point where we have seen the ACC issuing a statement to say that, so much is involved here. And you made a lot of determinations, but most importantly, you said the Higher Education Minister must pay back that money, that S&T, together with a PA, to those institutions that paid for her travels there. What made you to arrive at that determination, if you can take us inside it?
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling me to give an explanation on this. Let me just give you a little bit of a background of this matter so that you and your listeners are in the same page as far as the matter is concerned. Remember, there have been reports in various print media alleging that the Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Itah Kandji Murangi, was unduly paid subsistence and travel allowances to attend official events, which were allegedly fully sponsored by the organizers. That was basically the basis of our investigation, because we felt that there were reasonable grounds for us to look into this and find out whether indeed the minister fraudulently claimed money from the ministry while she was undertaking trips for the events that have been fully sponsored.
Right.
And yes, and our investigation established that, in fact, that was not true, that the minister claimed while he knew that the event had been fully sponsored. We could not find evidence that substantiated that allegation. We approached relevant officials to give us a statement in that regard, especially the executive director, whom we did not just approach once. We approached him more than 2 to 3 times. And in all instances, statements were obtained from the executive director. The reason why we did this, we wanted to be assured that what he is providing to us actually is supported by documentary proof. And the executive director confirmed in his statement under oath that it was him himself who approached the institutions. This is the public enterprises. It was UNAM, it was NAST, it was this training authority, approached them to fund the trip of the ministers, because at that time, when the request for the minister to travel to attend this official event, there was no money in the in their subsistence and allowance subdivision. Hence, he wrote to this institution on condition that the ministry will refund them. And this was confirmed by the head of those institutions, the vice chancellors and their administrator. They confirmed this, and they also confirmed that the ministry fully refunded them their money. Now our investigation was to find out whether there was any instance where these trips were already financed, but we could not find evidence that is supporting that allegation.
That's right. When we were speaking with Dr. Job Amupanda, a conversation here on Desert Radio that we are pretty sure you also were listening to or listened to, he alleged that there were 2 letters. That a letter accompanying the invitation to the minister indicated that the trip would be fully funded by those that were organizing it. And then he says there was yet another letter that came that said that the trip was not fully funded by the organizers there. Did your investigation come to that? Stumble upon such two letters as to be existing?
Remember that Dr. Amupanda refused not to participate in the investigation by the ACC. As a result, if Dr. Amupanda has information that could have assisted the investigation, that information, he did not bring it to the Anti-Corruption Commission because he refused to do so. Remember, the reason why we say people should approach ACC and provide ACC with information is exactly for ACC to be in a position to pursue those information that they have. If Dr. Amupanda has got information that could have helped the investigation to establish that indeed the trip that the minister was undertaking was paid, he failed to do that because he refused to participate in the investigation. We approached him and we wanted to obtain a statement from him, and for his own reason, he decided no, he was not prepared to give a statement to ACC, nor was he prepared to give information to ACC.
Did he give any reason as to why he was not prepared? When he spoke with us yesterday, he said, I don't trust the ACC, so I'd rather give the documents to the public, and the ACC can get those documents in the public domain.
No, he didn't give us that, except saying that he does not trust the ACC. For whatever reason he does not trust the ACC, I do not know. But then for us, the findings of the investigation is always based on the information that has been obtained. Either information obtained under oath in a form of statement or supporting documents that have been submitted to the commission. That is the thing. And then we have seen the letter of approval by the Office of the President for the minister to travel. We have also seen the letter addressed to the Executive Director by the personal assistant to the minister, where the minister has to travel. But then we have not seen what Dr. Amupanda is talking about. Because yes, please proceed.
Yes, DJ, I don't know if you can also address this question here. The concern that's coming through to say that the higher education minister was invited to an event where she was going to be part of a prayer group where they were praying. Administratively, does it make sense for a minister to be funded to go on a trip that has nothing to do with education? If you can answer that question.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen an invitation indicating that the minister was going for a prayer. The document in the position of AC says the minister is invited to attend the 10th Ministers of Education and Youth World Forum in Busan, Korea. That is the letter of invitation that in the position of ACC. The 10th Minister of Education and Youth World Forum. There is nothing talking about that they are going for prayer activities whatsoever in that letter of invitation.
That's right. If you are tuning in right now, we are speaking with the Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission, that's Paulus Noa, shedding light, of course, on their investigation and how they arrived at the determination that the minister should now retain some money to institutions under her, of course, that she made use of as S&T. And I would like to understand from you, is there anything in law that allows a minister to claim S&T from a separate institution other than her ministry? Is it feasible in law, administratively? Is it something that is legitimate as far as you see it from the ACC's position?
Well, the question is whether there is anything prohibiting that. We haven't seen any law that is prohibiting the executive director to request a particular institution, more especially if the trip is benefiting that institution. I believe there would be nothing wrong with that. But our observation and our conclusion is that the habit of the executive director doing that maybe prone to corruption in the sense that the institution that may not be willing to heed to such requests may perceive it to be victimized by the ministry concerned. Because remember that these are the institutions that receive funding from the same ministry. And if one institution is ever prepared to fund such trips, and the other institution is not prepared to fund such trips for the reason that they receive this money to carry out their own activities. You see, this institution may in the future, if it does not receive the adequate fund that it's requesting for the ministry, this institution may perceive that it's because they are refusing, to agree to the request that is made by the executive director for them to fund the minister. So this practice has to be discouraged. It should not go on like that. But if you are asking me whether there is a law allowing, there is no law prohibiting that I have seen. That should be the question. There is no law prohibiting that, even though practically the practice should not be promoted at all. It should be discouraged by all means because it creates some fatal grounds for corruption in the process. And hence, in our recommendation, we have recommended that the executive director of this Ministry of Higher Education should cease from this practice of ever writing letter to these institutions to fund these trips. And that the institutions themselves should also stop to fund these trips, especially when this trip has got nothing to benefit themselves.
The difficulty there, Director General, is that there is no law that stops the minister from asking institutions under him or her to give her or him S&T money.
Yes, I have not seen such law. I haven't seen such law.
Where then would you derive the power to then direct the institutions to stop having to fund these ministers when the law does not stop them from doing so?
That's why I'm saying that I am recommending.
It's a recommendation.
Yes, that is a recommendation. You must make a difference between a recommendation and an order. An order can be based on a certain law, for example. But when you are recommending, because look, recommending is somebody to be discouraged from doing a particular practice. Because that particular practice breeds, because from our perspective, it breeds some unethical conduct.
All right, but in this particular case of Itah Kandji Murangi, there was nothing unethical about it. That is your conclusion, if I get you correctly.
Remember, as I have said already, that these requests were made by the executive director.
Right.
There is no evidence whatsoever that the minister approached this institution demanding money from them to fund her trips. There is nothing as far as the documents and records that are in the possession of ACC. And coming back now to this advice given by ACC that the minister and her personal assistants should refund the ministry. Remember, whenever a person is traveling, a person is given a certain subsistence allowance. And when a person comes back, a claim form is completed indicating when a person arrived back, and then the calculations are made by the official to determine whether, for example, if the official returned earlier, then the official will be owing the ministry certain money. And as a result, the official will be informed by the ministry official, especially the executive director, that is owing certain money that he should pay to the ministry. Or if the official stay over for a certain couple of days for understandable reasons, because he was carrying out his or her official activities, the ministry may be owing this person as a result. They will also inform this official that the ministry is owing him or her a certain amount of money. This is the money that we are advising the minister to pay, is money that was accumulated through those trips as a result of the calculations that were made by the official. Our only concern here is that according to the statement that we have from the official from the Ministry of Higher Education, is that the normal practice is that these calculations must be made within 30 days after the return of the official. But for them, this trip were undertaken in 2022, and it was only in December 2023 that they wrote letters to the minister and the personal assistant, informing them that they are owing the ministry such amount. Hence, we are advising. We did not even give an order. We are advising the minister and the personal assistant to pay this money which they owe the ministry. If they have reasons not to pay this money, definitely they have to furnish such reasons to the executive director. That is the position.
That's right. Another concern that's coming through there, DJ, which we want you to address, is the concern that the executive director, Mr. Van Kent, seems to be the sacrificial lamb here simply because he made this request. People are saying, but the ED answers to the minister, and the ED cannot act without the tacit agreement and also consent of the minister. And the question is, why would you throw Mr. Van Kent under the bus like that, as if this was his own initiation?
Mr. Kelvin, I have told you already that I am in possession of statement under oath from the executive director, Dr. Van Kent himself.
Right.
Not a statement written on his behalf. It's a statement written by himself, whereby he commits himself to the fact that it was his initiative to approach this institution, to request for the institution to pay for these trips on condition that the ministry will refund them. It was not a directive that came from the minister, according to Dr. Van Kent. It was himself. That's why the question of being made a sacrificial lamb is nowhere here. It's him who did this. And remember that the executive director is the accounting officer of the ministry, having a responsibility to ensure that the finance of the ministry is managed efficiently. It's him who was doing these things. I'm not saying that there is any money missing by virtue of having requested this, because he refunded the institution, of course. But what we are saying is that the practice should not be promoted. It must be discouraged.
That's right, DG. We are coming to the close of our conversation there. You have given the minister an ultimatum. The payment must be made on the 30th of April 2024. If the minister does not pay this money by the 30th of April, what would be the next course of action from your office?
All right, we put a deadline there because the minister and the PA cannot indefinitely owe the ministry. And under normal practice, if the accounting officer is taking his work seriously, he could not authorize another trip for the minister before this paid. We have put this deadline so that after this deadline, we'll approach the executive director and find out whether the money has been paid. If the money has not been paid, a certain intention may be formed, you see, because there should be reason why the minister is not paying back this money. If there is a plausible reason why the minister is not paying the money, that is understandable. But then if there's no plausible reason why she is not paying the money, then definitely we may be invited to get into the matter.
That's right. That's the Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Paulus Noa, of course, shedding more light to the questions that people heard in connection with their directive to the minister there to pay back the money. Mr. Noa, for the time that you gave us there, we do appreciate you, sir. And of course, we are always, appreciative of your availing to the media every time we need you to come and shed light on critical matters. Do we have a beautiful day ahead of you?
Thank you very much. Have a blessed day too.
That's right. That's the DG of the ACC there in conversation with Desert Radio right here. And of course, allow me now just to take a break. And then, of course, we break it all down right here on a Desert Radio. If you do have questions, please do come through.
Listen to Desert Radio from wherever you are in the world by streaming live on stream.namibian.com.na. Desert Radio, the bold voice.